This is Lady Boulay, and welcome back to Black American Lineage. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for your comments. And thank you for your thumbs up. Thank you for all you do to support this channel. And yes, we have to talk about politics because they affect us too. And so something really interesting is happening with Democrats. And so the question is, Black Democrats, where do they stand with this Joe Biden shouldn't be the president, Joe Biden shouldn't be the president? So what's really happening now is that Joe Biden and his supporters are circling the wagons. And they are going to shield him and put him inside of this cocoon where a limited amount of damage is being done. And Black Democrats who really want to be taken seriously on the national level are falling lockstep with President Biden's supporters. Now, some of those women are out here shouting for Kamala, 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 even as Kamala plays it cool and stands back and pretends that she's supporting Biden. But you know that she sees blood in the water with the way Biden is behaving, and she sees an opportunity, probably the only one she's going to really get to be president. So she's got her fan club out there yelling for Biden to step aside. But the men are staying steady. The ones who want a real future with the Democratic Party are going along with what the party bosses say. And there are party bosses. And they're not going along with him because they're Uncle Toms or Coons or Sambos or because they love Joe Biden. That's not why they're doing it. They are going along with him for self-preservation. Now, you have to know that President Obama is not missing in action. You have to know he's behind the scenes pulling the strings. And I'm guessing that he's telling them, forget about now. Think about your future. You don't kick a man when he's down. The Democratic Party has actually elected a Black or Black identified president. So we know that that can happen. So President Obama is just telling them, don't make waves. Don't get out here talking about the guy. Everybody knows he's got problems, but just play it cool because they've already brought up Wes Moore's name as being a replacement for President Biden. But Wes Moore said, no, I've got my work to do in Maryland. He's playing their game. And just as a sidebar, we're not stupid. We know that America is not all that concerned about having a president in his right mind. They elected Donald Trump, and they are trying to elect him again. And Donald Trump is every bit as off the wall as Joe Biden. But he's been a con man for so long till he knows how to con his way through. But he's not completely wrapped tight either, because they said he told about 50 lies up on that stage and nobody ever checked him on it because they were so mesmerized with the fact that Joe Biden was completely out of it, apparently, because I didn't watch it. But anyway, I just wanted to make that point. America is not all that concerned about having a president that's sane, that's operating in his right mind, because if they were, they never would have elected Donald Trump. And anyway, this country has so much backup till it's really not a one-person government. He's just a front man. But he has a lot of backup. They say President Obama running the show anyway. But let me get back to the topic. Black Democrats refuse to abandon Biden, but not for the reason you think. So let me just close it out with that. Powerful Congressional Black Caucus chair backs Biden as president spurns elites and leans on his base. Representative Stephen Horsford, Democrat, Nevada, chair of the influential Congressional Black Caucus, expressed support for President Joe Biden on Monday, bolstering Biden's argument that his base is still behind him amid calls for him to step aside in the race. Pictured here with Joe Biden are Stephen Horsford, Congressman from Nevada, and Wes Moore, Governor of Maryland. President Joe Biden is the nominee and has been selected by millions of voters across this country, Horsford said in a statement that echoed many of Biden's campaign talking points, including accomplishments such as creating an equitable economy. I don't know if I would call it equitable, taking on big corporations and protecting the hard-fought freedoms, rights, and opportunities we've earned. Voters know that President Biden and Vice President Harris are fighting for them. So y'all agree with that, right? The statement comes as Biden has vowed to stay in the race and is leaning on key supporters, including black voters and lawmakers who helped propel him in 2020 to the White House. Black lawmakers in Congress have largely stood behind Biden as calls from elected Democrats for him to end his 2024 bid continue to trickle out in the wake of his damaging debate performance. So far, not one has called on him to step down, and several influential members, including Representatives Bobby Scott, Democrat Virginia, and Maxine Waters, Democrat California, have expressed support for Biden. Waters told a crowd at Essence Fest in New Orleans Saturday, "It ain't going to be no other Democrat candidate. It's going to be Biden." Kamala? Kamala was there too. Politico reported this statement Monday, quoting Scott as criticizing Biden's Democratic detractors for damaging his candidacy and referring to them as a circular firing squad. Ooh. Appealing to black voters is a central focus of Biden's concerted effort to revive his candidacy. He spoke to a black church in Philadelphia Sunday, gave his first 2 post-debate interviews to black radio hosts, and made plans to speak at an NAACP convention in Las Vegas next week as part of a swing through the Southwest focused on engaging black and Latino voters. So every time he gets in trouble, he runs to the black people, counting on the black vote. Well, I'm not sure that's going to be a reliable vote this time around. I think this time he ought to focus all of his attention on the Latinos, see what they can do for him. Leave black people out of it. We had a democratic nomination process and voters have spoken clearly and decisively. I received over 14 million votes, 87% of the votes cast across the entire nominating process. Biden wrote in a letter to Congress on Monday, reiterating his plans to stay in the race. Do we now just say this process didn't matter? That the voters don't have a say? On Monday, Biden expressed frustration at elites in the party. He's talking about the people with the money now. And big names who have called on him to resign from his campaign, insisting the average voter out there still wants Joe Biden, he said on MSNBC's Morning Joe. Biden, in his letter to Congress on Monday, said he is firmly committed to staying in this race, to running this race to the end, and to beating Donald Trump. So, anybody thought that he was going to step down? You thought wrong. I never thought he would. So, y'all let me know what you think about this. Biden is not going to step down. And if they try to wrestle it away from him, they will be sorry. So I understand why these black guys who really want to be in politics, they want to hold on to their political leverage. I understand why they're standing behind him. But they just, shouldn't be surprised if they don't get the turnout of black voters that they were hoping for. And then again, they just might. I don't know. Okay, y'all. So these black Democrats are playing with the good old boys. And by the way, these two, Stephen Horsford and Wes Moore, mothers came from the West Indies and their fathers are black Americans. So I don't know how you make the call on that one. Okay, have a good evening.